Yes, it's my discussion slash review for 911 Season 6, Episode 12, titled Recovery. And we are finally done with Winding Path. Let's talk about it.
Live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I go by at night, I be in my feelings, I'm a big fight.
This episode, we see a lot of stuff going down, man. We see flashbacks of Wendell and Bobby and how important and impactful Wendell was in Bobby's life and on his road to recovery. Also comes along with the title. But the episode was different, but it was also very good because we're dealing with a lot of main story parts this episode. We really didn't get a lot of actual firefighter stuff this episode. It was more character development and dealing with our main characters this episode. And that's not bad all the time. You know, it's nice to get a break from the actual stuff to diving so you could dive more deeply into these characters. And that's what this episode was, because we see that Bobby, he's still on this thing with Winding Path to actually find out what happened to Wendell. And he's even talking to Tamara to find out what Tamara, whatever her name is, to find out what's actually going on. And to be honest, the girl spilled the beans. Like, Bobby went and saw her, and we found out that she kind of pulled Wendell into this, and Wendell was trying to pull her out of Winding Path, and they just kind of got caught up in all of the whole hullabaloo of it. And we find out that Wendell had a webcam installed in the office to try to find out what was going on with this company, because we knew there was no way that 5 people and people just keep dying at this rehab center and there's never an investigation or anything going on like that. But Wendell had the guts to really find out what was going on to help Tamara. I want to say her name was Tamara. And big ups to Wendell on that, man. You really see how impactful Wendell was on both of these people's lives, her and Bobby, because Bobby didn't give up the fight, and Tamara, she was a little, kind of standoffish, if you will, because she was afraid of these people, because she's seen what they're capable of. So yeah, it took Bobby convincing her to really step forward, and her telling Bobby everything, and her working with Wendell to try to unravel all the stuff that was going on with Winding Path. Bobby didn't give no leeway, man. Bobby was in it this episode. I'm going to find out something with these people, because we know there's more to this story. And the fact that Tamara was feeling guilty and they drugged her yet again, you know what I'm saying, and kind of used her the same way they did with Wendell, with Bobby. And did they try to set Bobby up? Now, the entire time watching this episode, I felt like to myself, why is Bobby going there by himself? Why? This is stupid, because you never quite know what these people are gonna do. We know what they're capable of, but we're not sure what they're gonna do. Now, I thought they were gonna hurt Bobby, but that wasn't the case. They were trying to frame Bobby. Now, for them to get away with murders, and we learned this episode that they've done this on multiple occasions in other cities, but for them to get away with murder a couple times, and this time to just lay everything out perfectly like that, there's no way that the detective was going to fall for it. They framed Bobby. Now, sure, Bobby came there with a whole lot of hostility on multiple occasions, but they used that as a path to kind of lead to him attacking them and burning down their facility and then leaving the gas in his truck. Dude is a firefighter, a decorated firefighter, and then they tried to frame him. And don't even get me started about the fact that they tried to bring up his past about his family dying in Minnesota. Oh my gosh, man, these people are trash. And the fact that everything just fell into place too perfectly, there was no way that detective was going to fall for it. And lo and behold, she didn't fall for it. Everything was just laid out. Like it was a path. Like there was arrows, there was directions, there were people pointing, go this way to find out who did it. There was no way that she was going to believe that Bobby done it. Like I said, he's a decorated firefighter, and all of the evidence was just too perfect. But long story short, man, they found a webcam, and Tamara kind of laid out all the facts of what actually happened. And at the end of the day, they got arrested. And when they got arrested, they flipped on each other like nobody's business. The husband told on the wife and said it was all her idea. The wife said it was all the husband's idea. And to be fair, now they're both going to jail. And, it's done. Y'all done killed people on multiple occasions. You're starting fires. You're doing all this other stuff. Yeah, you know what? Y'all need to go to jail. Throw them in jail and lock the key under the building and do everything you need to so they don't never see the light of day again. Now, there was a lot of other stuff going on with this episode as well. We see Buck is still kind of recovering from his, fatal death near death experience with the lightning on the ladder, and Maddie, she's just trying to be there for him the same way he was for her, but she didn't allow him to help her. So Maddie kind of ran off and done her own thing, but she doesn't want that for Buck. She wants to be there on top of everything. So she's sending everybody to Buck's house. Buck is tired of people coming to his house. Buck is tired of everybody coming to his house, man. He's like, oh my gosh, the moment I try to get some rest, knock, knock, knock. What do you want? But it's a good thing because Buck is in his head this entire time. He hasn't really gotten any news from the doctor. He's super worried. He doesn't really know what to do because technically he did die for 3 minutes, and that's kind of bugging him. What am I supposed to do with my life now? Now, it's still kind of a toss-up whether Buck may leave or something. I'm not totally sure. I'm hoping he doesn't because we can definitely tell that this really affected Buck kind of bad, man. Like, it's really messing with Buck, but we'll have to see how it plays out next week to understand where his headspace is at, because he can go back to work. But, him just being tired of everybody coming to his house and going over to Eddie's house and just falling to sleep the moment he hits the couch, what I'm saying? He could even really enjoy Eddie's company. But this episode really brought a lot to the table for Bobby and Buck this episode. It was really more character developments for those two characters to try to get them into a better place, a different space, so to speak. And I really enjoyed that because we see how Wendell connected to Bobby, how Bobby connected to Tamara, how Tamara connected to Wendell. And at the ending of the episode, we see Bobby also trying to connect to someone else and kind of taking that role that Wendell had in their support group. And I think that was big ups on Bobby, man. We know how his character has been, how he's been dealing with his recovery and everything. And this was a perfect kind of full circle moment for Bobby, for him to take over for Wendell. And like I said, how everything kind of came with the connections. We know Buck was always constantly checking on Bobby every day because that was something he'd done in his dream world. He didn't want to see drugged out Bobby. Like, there was so much connection in this episode, and I'm not mad that we didn't get any kind of actual 911 firefighter stuff going on, because the character development is something that we all love and enjoy in 911. And like I said, it was a great episode, and I am finally done. I'm finally glad to be done with Winding Path. This is really incredible. Don't forget to smash the like button until you can't smash any more. Comment down below, and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them, and subscribe. Peace out.